Science 1, Chapter 2. Good morning, everyone. We are again here for the final lecture of Chapter 2, Science 1, Work and Energy. As you all know, my name, my school, and what we have been teaching, and you are learning from last 2 days. So today we'll be winding up the chapter Work and Energy. So you all know, okay, in the last lecture we have studied about energy, then the types of energy, also the important topic that is law of conservation of energy. And I told it is very important one. So today also we will uh, revise it again, law of conservation of energy, because the topic which we are learning, which we are going to learn today, it is based on the law of conservation of energy only. And I hope you all might have understood it and recited also it. Then the next topic which we'll be studying today is free fall, and last one would be the power. These two things also it will be helpful for you for your 10th standard. This free fall topic is an important one, and you will be studying in 10th standard too. Free fall. So please be careful or be attentive for today. Uh, in 10th standard you will be studying in detail, and will be this time we'll be studying its definition and how the energy is conserved at different positions. We'll be studying this, and the next one would be the power. So uh, we have come across the types of energy, that is the kinetic energy as well as the potential energy. And I have taken this topic or this slide, kinetic energy, in this because just because of this equation and its definition. So because in free fall we will be finding out the total energy, and total energy is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. Therefore, we will be revising this kinetic energy again. We'll just go through the definition of kinetic energy. So the definition is the energy which an object has because of its motion is known as kinetic energy. And the formula for kinetic energy is kinetic energy is half, that is 1 upon 2 mv square. M is the mass, v is the velocity for that. So then the next type of energy which we have studied is the potential energy. Potential energy's definition is the energy stored in an object because of its specific state or position is called its potential energy. We have also come across many of the examples also for potential energy, like a stretch arrow and bow. Then what type of energy does it contain? We have studied with this potential energy. Earlier we have discussed with the examples and then the potential energy. Then the another example, the simplest one is the I told you, okay, water stored at an height in our building. And also we have taken one example for this. So after finishing the definition, the formula for potential energy comes like potential energy is mgh, where again m would be the mass, g would be the gravity, acceleration due to gravity, and h would be the height. And also we have seen one solved sum yesterday by just putting out the values, which putting out the value or whatever the data that was given in the sum. So again here we have come to the definition of law of conservation of energy. So as we have discussed earlier only, okay, law of conservation of energy tells us that okay, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be converted from one form into another form. the total amount of energy in the universe remains constant. So energy can neither be created and nor be destroyed. The only thing which happens with energy is it can be converted from one form into another form. Like yesterday, we have seen various examples about the different different forms of energy and how energy was transforming or it was converting into another form. We have seen various examples. First, we have seen about the different forms of energy that were the mechanical energy, heat energy, light energy, chemical energy, nuclear energy, thermal energy, then magnetic energy, electromagnetic energy. These were the different types. And while going through the examples, we have seen okay, whenever we light firecrackers, so at that time, the chemical energy which is stored in all that crackers, different types of firecrackers, it gets converted into heat, light, and sound. So the thing which was happening with that example is we have seen that energy can only be converted. It is stored in it, but it can be converted into another form. So that was one example which was the easier one. Then another example I have given you about the generator also. Okay, how the mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy. Generator we all use, or the inverters which we use whenever there is any load shedding, which it does not occur in cities, but at in villages, there's a there's an insufficient supply of electricity. So that time that inverters are used. So, uh, there also the same thing happens. The energy stored in it, it gets converted into electrical energy. So these are the different examples. So please note down this and revise it nicely. So after this, law of conservation of energy, we have come to our today's topic, that is free fall. Now, why I have taken law of conservation of energy before this? There might be there is some reason. No? So before studying free fall, uh, law of conservation of energy is important because in this topic free fall, when we'll be studying K, whenever an object falls and what is the kinetic energy at that time and what is the kinetic energy at that particular object when it is moving or when it is not moving. So therefore that topic was important. So coming to free fall, first we'll take the definition only. An object falling solely means completely under the influence of gravitational force is said to be in free fall or to be falling freely. Actually, these are not 2 points, huh? It is one definition only. An object falling solely, completely under the influence, under the pressure of gravitational force, that is said to be in free fall, or you can also say it is falling freely. Now, whenever we drop anything, we have studied about potential energy, that water stored at a height, or when you stand up and uh, drop a chalk, drop a chalk. We can take this examples also. So any object which falls on the ground just because of the gravitational force. We know okay, whatever that falls on the ground or earth, it is solely due to gravity only. The gravitational force, it attracts that particular object, any object on the in the atmosphere, or any object which is in a surrounding, and if it falls, it is at that time. So there's the only force which attract that object is the gravitational force, and then we can say okay, that object is falling freely. So note down this definition. It is also given in your textbook, page number 26. Hope you are carrying your textbooks with you all, because Now I will be using your textbook pages only for your understanding purpose. Now, if you'll go through on page number 26, you might find this page. It is on page number uh, 26. So, if we release an object from a height, it gets pulled toward the earth because of the gravitational force. Same thing which we have seen about the definition of free fall. Same thing. And now, in more clear sense, an object falling solely under the influence of gravitational force is said to be in free fall or it is falling freely. This is the definition. Now let us look at the kinetic and potential energies of an object of mass m which is falling freely from the height h when the object is at different height. Now the two types of energy have come here, kinetic energy and potential energy. Therefore, in the previous slide, we have uh, gone through the kinetic energy, its definition, plus their equations. So now we'll have a look on the kinetic energy also as well as the potential energy also. And the object it is having same mass, that is m, and height we always take with h. We take with small h, and but the thing which is happening here is the particular object h is falling to the ground with different height, with different height. As shown in the figure, the point A, look at the point A, is at a height h. Yes, the point A is at a height h from the ground. The ground level is C, and the point A is at a height h. At the point B is at a distance x. That means the distance between A and B is x, vertically below A. Let the point C be on the ground directly below A and B. Clearly, you can understand here. Clearly, A, that is on height h. The distance between A and B is x. It is given in the figure. And again, the distance between the A and C is A and C is now. Let us calculate the energies of the object at A, B, and C. Now, in the first case, when the object is stationary at A, stationary, it is not moving, its initial velocity is u, and that is 0. We have been studying so far from chapter first, that is laws of motion. Whenever the object is in a stationary position or in a uniform position, so at that time the initial velocity, it is not moving, it is just lying on the same place. So always remember, if it is stationary, then the initial velocity will be 0. Now the object is at A, initial velocity is 0. What would be the kinetic energy here? We have taken kinetic energy's equation, that is kinetic energy is half mass into velocity square, half mv square. Okay, mv square. It is the original equation for kinetic energy, that is half mv square. Now half will remain as it is, mass will be m. Now the velocity at A is the initial, that is u, and we have taken u, that is 0. So the kinetic energy will become 0. Half into m into 0, that will be 0 only. So the kinetic energy at at point A will be 0. Now let us take the potential energy. We know the formula for potential energy, that is mgh. So therefore the total energy, I told you earlier only that the total energy would be kinetic energy plus potential energy. So just now we have calculated here uh, kinetic energy. So it came up to 0. Potential energy is mgh. So what will be the total energy? It will be mgh only. 0 plus mgh will be same mgh. So this is equation number 1. So here we can say the kinetic energy at point A, or at height h. Sorry, the total energy. The total energy uh, at point A, it is equal to potential energy. It is equal to potential energy. In short, we can say this also. Though we have added kinetic energy, but it came up to 0. So it is potential energy. So the total energy at point A is mgh, and this we have given it as question number 1. After this, to your left side, let the velocity of the object be vb. Now we are calculating at VB. We are calculating at VB at point B. When it reaches point B, now the object is coming at point B and haven't fallen through a distance x. So the distance between A and B is now x. It is given. A and B is x. Again, the initial velocity is 0. Now there is a displacement because the object has come from A to B. A to B, and it has its displacement is now s, but the displacement is given as x. So we will take s is equal to x. Why we will take? Because the distance which it has covered from A to B is x, and now A is g. A is g because uh, it has started falling. Now उसमें velocity आ गई है. The velocity has come, and now it is moving towards the earth. It is having acceleration. It is having acceleration now. It is moving towards the earth. Now it has the velocity also. It has velocity also, and it is moving. Therefore, we are taking g here. G is for gravity. Now this equation v square is equal to u square plus twice as. This is Newton's equation for velocity and displacement. है ना? So what we are taking for velocity, we are calculating for b. So it will become vb square. Again, the initial velocity was 0. So it is 0. 2 as it is. A we have taken g, and s we have taken x. On calculating, it becomes vb square is equal to 2gx. Therefore, the kinetic energy, now again we are calculating here the kinetic energy. So kinetic energy equals to half mv square, but our v is vb square. So half mvb square equals to, on substituting the value, half as it is, m as it is, vb square is 2gx. Correct? And this 2 and that 2 will get cancelled. We will only get mgx. Okay. Now height of the object when b is, when at b. What is the height of the object when the object is at b? It is h minus x. The total height is uh, h, and at b it will be at h minus x. Like we calculate the total distance. If in math also we have calculated. So if you have to calculate the two distance, so we have to subtract one of them, or sometimes we add. So that formula we can use here. So height of the object when the object is at b, it will be h minus x. Now potential energy. We all know potential energy is mgh. But what is the height given here? It is h minus x. So potential energy will become what then? Potential energy is mg in bracket h minus x. So you will multiply this mg with h, and again minus mg into x. Now again total energy. Total energy we know it is kinetic energy plus potential energy. So kinetic energy is mgx. Barabar? Then plus potential energy is this 2 1 mgh minus mgx. We have added here. Now this positive mgx and that negative mgx, it will get cancelled. It is getting cancelled. And now the total energy which is remaining is mgh only. Again, in the second case, when the object is at B. Okay. So first also we have got at A also we have got mgh. At B position also we have got mgh. So this is the second one. Now moving to your right side, to your right side. Everyone's right side. If you're holding your mobile, so your right side. Third point. Let the velocity of the object be vc. Now it is at the ground. When it reaches the ground near point C, initial velocity 0. Now the displacement is total A to C, so that is h. And again, acceleration due to gravity, this is g. Same formula will be using v square equals to u square plus twice as. So now we'll be using for velocity, we are using c because we are calculating the velocity of at point C. At point C. So vc square. Vc square will substitute the values which are given there. Vc square equals to 0. Initial velocity is 0. So u square will be 0 only. 0 square is 0. Plus 2 as it is. A is g and s is h. Again we'll calculate which energy? Kinetic energy. By putting the formula first. Half mvc square. Got it? Half mvc square. Again, substituting the value, half will remain as it is, m will remain as it is. Vc square you will add there. 0 plus 2gh will be 2gh only. In bracket, 2gh is given. That 2 will get cancelled. And you will get kinetic energy equals to mgh. Okay. Now the height of the object from the ground at point C is from ground. Now the object has touched the ground. So that object and ground, is there any difference or is there any height? No. Now there is no any height. Now the object has reached the ground at point C. Therefore the height will become 0. And we all know potential energy's formula, that is mgh. So mgh now has become 0. Suppose how it has become 0, you might be wondering. If we'll substitute h is equals to 0 in potential energy, that is mgh, so m multiplied by g multiplied by 0 will be 0 only. Therefore, total energy is equal to again kinetic energy plus potential energy. So kinetic energy is mgh and potential energy is 0. So therefore, total energy is mgh only. This is equation number 3. So from all the equations, that is 1, 2 and 3, we see that the total energy of the object is the same at the 3 points A, B, C. Again, you can on this screen you can check the equation number 2 and 3, and here this is equation number 1, total energy mg, last line here, total energy mg is equation number 1. Equation number 2, total energy mgh 2, and last equation number 3, total energy equals to mgh 3. So from all these 3 equations, the total energy of the object is same at the 3 points A, B, C. Thus, every object has potential energy when it is at a height above the ground, and when it starts falling, that potential energy gets converted to kinetic energy as the object falls towards the ground. In short, or for our understanding purpose, we can say we have understood that moving object has a kinetic energy. So at a height, any object, it has potential energy. It has potential energy. But when it starts falling towards the ground, it has kinetic energy. On reaching the ground, that is at point C, all the potential energy get converted to kinetic energy. From the equation we have understood this. But at any point during the fall, but at any point during the fall, the total energy remains constant. Any point, that is at point A, point B, and point C. The total energy, that is potential energy plus kinetic energy. And in this example, we have taken 3 points, A, B, and C. So the total energy remains constant. And here, the law of conservation of energy proves the total amount of energy in the universe remains constant. And if उसके पहले का point, if you'll see the earlier point of that law of conservation of energy, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but only it can be converted from one form to another. At a height, it was potential energy, but when it started falling down, it gets converted into kinetic energy. So here, the law of conservation of energy is proved. Got it? Therefore, the total and that is the total energy is potential energy plus kinetic energy. We have calculated the total energy at A, that was mgh plus 0, that was mgh. Total energy at B, that was mgx plus mg in bracket h minus x. So it came up to mgh only because we have multiplied mg which in bracket h minus x, and both the mgx positive and mgx minus negative, they both got cancelled, and eventually we got total energy at B, that was mgh only. Then third one, at C, the total energy at point C, that was 0. The kinetic energy was 0 at that time. And mgh was the potential energy. So 0 plus mgh, we have got finally total energy, that was mgh only. I hope you could have understood this. Now the next and the last topic for this chapter is power. Okay. I'm on page number 27 of your textbook. There are some examples which we'll just read out. The first example is, can your father climb stairs as fast as you can? This example might be happening with all of us daily. Whenever you go with your father for any work for outside, so while going to your home, we need to walk the stairs only. While walking, what you do? You pick the whatever you have brought from the market in your hand, and you just move the stairs fast. But your father don't. You know. Second, will you fill an overhead tank with a bucket or electric motor? Overhead tank, which is on the building. Can you fill it with the bucket? Chalo, if you have filled with the bucket also, and if you are filling it with electric motor, two instances, two different examples. Suppose third one, Rajshri, Yash, and Ranjit have to reach the top of a small hill. Three friends, Rajshri, Yash, and Ranjit, they are reaching a small hill. Rajshri went by car, Yash went by cycle, Ranjit went walking. They all followed the same route, same path. Who will reach first? Who will reach last? You can answer this. In all the above examples, the work done is same. What is the work done? Reaching the hill. The work done is same, but the time taken is different. Yes, the person who is going through car will reach the first one. Then who is going by cycle, he'll reach the second one, and who is going walking, that will be the last one. So the fast or slow rate of the work done is expressed in terms of power. The work done in these instances, whether it is fast, not only for this examples or instances, for every kind of example, every kind of work done. the rate of work done is expressed in terms of power. So the definition of power becomes then power is the rate at which work is done. Power is the rate at which work is done. And if W is the amount of work done in time T, then the formula for power becomes power equals to work upon time. Power equals to work upon time. In short, or in symbols or alphabets, you can denote it as P equals to W upon T. Remember it. Now, in SI unit, we'll have a short introduction for the scientist. Uh, Let us first go through this, then we'll have the introduction, which is given on page 27 of your textbook. Now, in SI system, Standard International System, the unit of work is joule. This also we have studied. The unit of work is joule. So, the unit of power is joule per second. Why per second? Because we are calculating the time also. Whenever you perform any work, time is the most important term for any activity. So, therefore, we have taken is that unit for power is joule per second, and this is called watt. This is called watt. Power is measured in watt. We often go for purchasing a bulb which is used in our home for lighting purpose. So you go and say to the shopkeeper, "Okay, give me a bulb of 10 watts, 20 watts, likewise, whatever the requirement." So this is the same watt which you use. So this is called as watt. And 1 watt is equal to 1 joule into 1 second. 1 watt. This is equal to 1 joule into 1 second. 1 joule per second. In industrial sector, industries, in big industries where the uh, things are produced on a large scale, and obviously without the use of electricity, there's no any production of anything. So in industrial sector, the unit used to measure power is called horsepower. Is horsepower, and 1 horsepower is 746 watt. Remember this. This is an important term. Okay, 1 horsepower is 746 watt. If you'll go through any GK exam, any exam uh, during school level or later on also, so this question is mostly asked if 1 horsepower is equal to what. So your answer should be 746 watt. The unit of energy for commercial purpose. Commercial purpose means which we use at our houses. Uh, no, that is domestic one. So the unit of energy for commercial purposes is kilowatt hour. The unit of energy for uh, commercial use is kilowatt hour, and 1000 joule work performed in 1 second is 1 kilowatt power. That means in symbolical form also I have written ki 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 1 kilowatt into 1 hour. So 1 kilowatt is equal to 1000 watt, and 1 hour 3600 and second 3600 seconds. So when you multiply both that, you get uh, 36 lakh joule. And if you'll write again in point 1, you will get 3.6 into 10 to the power of 6. 10 to the power of 6 joules. Electricity used in for domestic purpose is measured in kilowatt hour, or domestic purpose or household purpose. So 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 1 unit. Now, these are the solved examples from your textbook only. We'll just read it out, and how to apply the formula. We can here we can know. Okay, if you are supposed to calculate power, or if you are supposed to calculate the force, how you have to apply the formula. First example is Swarali takes 20 seconds to carry a bag weighing 20 kg to a height of 5 meters. How much power has she used? Question is simple. She is carrying a bag of 20 kg and she has to move the height of 5 meters. and she has done that one work in 20 seconds, just 20 seconds. How much power has she used? So, as I told you earlier, before solving any word sums or any mathematical sum, you have to just write the data first. So, given is mass 20 kg, height is 5 meter, and time taken is 40 seconds. So, therefore, the force which has to be applied by Swarali is force is equal to mg. She is going to a height. So, first we will calculate the force. So F is equal to M into G, that is 20 into 9.8, because G is always 9.8. G is always 9.8 because it is acceleration due to gravity. So it comes up to that force 196 Newton. We know the unit of force is Newton. Now work done by Swarali to carry the bag to a height of 5 meters. So work done will be calculated by force into displacement. So 196 into 5, that's 5 meters. Displacement is 5 meters. She is moving to a height of 5 meters. So force into displacement, it comes up to 980 joules. Okay. And now we will apply the actual formula for power. So that is power is equal to work upon time. We have calculated the work that is in joules, that is 980, and the time taken is 40 seconds. If you divide 98 by 980 or 980 by 40, you will get power up to 24.5 watt. Second one is the a 25 watt electric bulb is used for 10 hours daily. So let us take the example of our house. एक 25 watts का bulb है. It is we are using for 10 hours daily. That means we are keeping the button on or using that bulb for 10 hours. How much electricity does it consume every day? Hmm? So here we have to find out the electricity. So and the power of the bulb is given 25 watt. So we have to convert it in kilowatt. So what we'll do, we'll divide it by 1000. So we'll get the value that watt is equal to 0.025 kilowatt. Energy consumed, that means power. Energy consumed, it will be power into time. So when you'll multiply it by 10 hours you have used. So it will be up to 0.25 kilowatts per hour. Okay, in this way we have ended with the chapter. These two are the solved sums, and now we have come to our last part, that is the evaluation part. So the questions are very familiar to you. You have been studying all the same three questions at least from the last 3 days. Law of conservation of energy and the kinetic energy, its formula, potential energy, its formula, and the two topics which are new for you that for today's lecture is free fall and power. So you all just note it down, and only I will discuss. I'll just read the first three questions, and for fourth and fifth one, I will try to answer you, or better will take only. Chalo. So the first question is law of conservation of energy. Again, I will revise in front of you, and I hope and I'm very much damn sure that you. I have repeated it so many times. At least many of you might have uh, learned it by heart, है ना? So the law of conservation of energy. First one is state the law of conservation of energy. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be converted from one form into another form, and the total amount of energy in the universe remains constant. Second one, the kinetic energy. Define kinetic energy and state its formula. So the energy which an object has because of its motion is known as kinetic energy. Formula for kinetic energy is half equals to half mv square. Potential energy. Potential energy is the energy potential energy and its formula. Okay, when The energy stored in an object because of its specific state or position is known as potential energy. Formula for potential energy is mgh equals to mgh, where m is the mass, mg is the acceleration due to m is the mass, g is the gravity, and h is the height. Then last one is the free fall. Fourth one, free fall. An object falling solely, completely under the influence of gravitational force, that is known to be as free fall. And last, fifth one, define power and state its formula. So the power definition of power is the rate of the rate at which work is done. And if W is the amount of work done, work W, W for work, and symbol also will use W. And time T, if W is the amount of work done in time T, then the formula for power becomes power equals to work upon time if we write in spelling, and if we write in symbol, it will be P equals to W upon T. I hope you all could have enjoyed this, and with all these topics and discussion, we have completed this chapter number 2, and hoping you all have understood, and you will be completing this whole chapter, the question answers which are given on page number 28 of your textbook in your class notes, and you all will be following your teacher's instruction, whatever they are giving you, and with the help of these lectures, you I give my best of luck for completing your question answers. And with this, I thank you all for joining the lecture, and I wish you a very nice day ahead and happy learning again for the next lectures. Okay.